Freestyle the news. Come on.
He threw more punches at the security guard than he did in this fight.
Sniperwolf needs to be deplatformed.
You know how it is.
In Gaza, images of homes crumbling.
Let's go. Everybody got a statement and they know sap. Everybody got a take with the whole facts. Everybody think of something they can quote back. Got the bodies in the street like a whole stack. Steve saying he gon' roll, but he rolled back. Had a plan, but it died on me so fast. Got a deal from the strike and a contract. Get them all back. Wait a minute, you can hold that. Hold up. Wait. Hold up. Get the secrets out to Egypt. Bobby, you stuck in the deep end. Kevin say he isn't leaving like Sniperwolf soon as she see him. Gavin out here with the vetoes. Separate cast that isn't equal. Data back to older people. All these rappers in their ego. Drizzy touchy on our Gino. Button messy here since 06. Throw a mic at Logan, split his whole lid. Barely throwing punches till you fold in. All that talking, walking out with no win. Ain't nobody listen to the whole spin. Free for all opinions, feel like Game Squid. Keep it messy, baby, till it's all big. Hope that activism gets you famous. Blackouts in Gaza. BB had the warning on everything that are monsters. He focused on killing the courts and getting his stock up. Tell them all to leave, like where the fuck can they go, bro? Everybody triggered off of certain phrases. Who you free and who you stand with. You get angry, disproportionate power, scrambling people antsy. I got Mike over Saint for president. Everybody trying to mix the messages. Jada saying she and Will was separate for like years before slapping everyone. Activision got the Xbox settled and the internet is not your medicine. All these people want the clicks like predators. Everyone a terrorist. Say they so American before they prison Hezbollah. Only trying to speak when they need my peace, like when your girlfriend talks about your crypto scheme. Oh! Too soon. The Humanist Report 2024, him and Matt Bender. One of their campaign promises is to upgrade all of their microphones so there's less fuzz. This is probably the most exhausting news cycle I've been a part of since I started this, which is almost a year ago. So yay! Hey, thank you guys so much for watching Freestyle the News. If you like what you heard, please promote that like button to Sergeant. Send him to a quaint little town that's won Village of the Year I don't know how many years in a row. And then as he feels like kind of uneasy because like, hey, I'm not in the big city anymore, grisly murders start to happen in this town. And the sergeant's like, what the fuck is going on? And his partner's like, hey, I like action movies. And the sergeant's like, life isn't an action movie. And he finds out that the neighborhood watch is actually committing all of these. Hot Fuzz is such a good fucking movie. Like if you like Scott Pilgrim, no, get out of here. Hot Fuzz. Oh, and I know what you're saying, but they're cops. Yeah, I know. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about today. Guess what our top story is going to be? In that vein, I really want to thank everybody from last week for having empathy. And actually, the comment section from last week wasn't a crazy, bombastic, insane fest. Even people who had very, very strong feelings about what was going on were presenting everything to educate everybody. We had a good, nice series of discussions there. I really want to send like a lot of love and appreciation for everybody like doing the right thing in that comment section with the insanity that's been going on. Also, thank you for understanding where I was coming from, mainly because like, look, I recorded a take twice and I deleted both times, and I was just like, look, if I do a third one of these, like, it's not right. Like, I'm at my deadline, I have to get this done, and at the same time, I don't want to be shitty or inaccurate. Been a little bit of time, I've absorbed quite a bit more, so we're gonna talk about that in a second. And one last bit of info just for everybody to know, hey, we're on the Grammy ballot. If you didn't know, Impact, the Evo album, has gotten over 1 million streams at this point. I'm super appreciative of everybody, and we are on a Grammy ballot. Yeah, so we submitted Run Back City for the Grammys, and it is on the initial ballot for Best Song Written for Visual Media. So if you're a member of Naras, who votes on the Grammys, throw us a vote, please. Maybe next year I'll be able to submit this show for a Grammy. Wait, that's what's going on in my life. I really appreciate you guys sticking around, and let's get into this breakdown already. And of course, this has been a heavy, exhausting news week, and I know how hard it is to talk about this, but our first story is the Israeli-Hamas war. As of this recording, 1,300 Israelis and 1,900 Palestinians have been killed, most, if not all, civilians. They've cut off electricity to Gaza. They're saying, hey, all the Palestinians, you better get out of Gaza because we're gonna attack Hamas. Forgetting to mention that there's nowhere they can fucking go. It's 1.1 million people, dude. There's not, what the fuck are you talking about? And in the midst of this, more information has come out that Israel was warned about the attack way ahead of time while Netanyahu waged this campaign for judicial overhaul. Now listen, in terms of my opinion about the crisis, I'm gonna briefly summarize it. The main reason is because everybody has heard 1 million opinions about this crisis this week. Everybody has heard it, but there's something that we're not talking about, and we're not specifically talking about the effect of our social media apparatus on this crisis and how it makes it impossible to work through. So let's start with where I'm coming from. And I urge you, please listen and wait before you jump to something, because this entire story is rife with moments where one phrase or anything is uttered and everybody jumps. Listen to what I'm saying. No phrase is a dog whistle. I'm pretty straightforward with how I feel all the time. So my general feelings are that Israel for years has been attacking Gaza and making it a hellhole to absolutely live in. They say this is to deter terrorism, and they also do it for political points amongst their constituency. The violence, the propaganda, the racism is all there, and so many people say free Palestine. But in the midst of that issue, Hamas, which is a group that gained power in a vacuum in the absence of power, launched an attack on Israeli civilians, killing people at a music festival, going door to door and massacring people, killing children, taking hostages, creating all sorts of chaos. In the midst of that, Netanyahu was in the middle of a judicial overhaul where he was trying to grasp all of the power for his party. There were protests in the streets, everything. Hamas committed this act saying that it is in retaliation for the things that have happened in Gaza. However, my feeling is that Hamas's actions are specifically to benefit Hamas. And in the midst of this, Hamas has taken hostages. Israel is planning to bomb Gazan civilians who are not responsible for this, and Hamas is using Free Palestine as a smokescreen to commit horrific acts, and Netanyahu is using I Stand With Israel as a giant smokescreen to bomb Gaza. That is my take, and when you hear that, I immediately know where people are going to go. Because immediately people are going to be like, well, listen, it's not proportional casualties. Absolutely right, it is not proportional casualties. Thousands and thousands and thousands of Palestinians have died in Gaza over the last 10 to 15 years. But are you not going to condemn these wanton acts of terrorism where people have been murdered? No, 100%. They are horrible acts that are not okay. They're absolutely horrific. And you can go back and fucking forth with this shit. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. The other benefit that Hamas and Netanyahu and the IDF get is social media. Social media has been designed for noise in the last 5 to 10 years. It is built specifically to manufacture noise and make conversation impossible. By the way, this is not the first conversation in the last 3 years that feels impossible. Do you notice that certain phrases online on X, like if you say them, they're seen as a dog whistle for something nefarious? That's priced in. That's from the Culture War Handbook of social media. That's happened over the last couple of years, right? Everything from Dylan Mulvaney and Bud Light, everything from Hogwarts Legacy, everything from The Last of Us 2, The Last Jedi. These are things that have been built specifically to create a culture where people have to double, triple, and quadruple down on takes. And all of a sudden, every little iota of something you say is a dog whistle, so that, oh, I can't trust you, I can't have a reasonable conversation with you, and that breaks down. Most Palestinians just want the suffering to be acknowledged. Not even just acknowledged, stop. Palestinians want the suffering to stop. The IDF have been absolutely monstrous in this regard. But at the same time, a cacophony of Israelis are saying like, wait, but this was also murder. This was horrible. Innocent civilians died. And the fucking problem is, both of those things are true. They're not proportional. And none of that is being said. Immediately when you mention the Israeli thing, people are saying, oh, well, is it proportional to the deaths in Gaza? No. And again, in the midst of all of this insanity, you have to understand that the main people who are benefiting are the IDF and Hamas. The noise from social media makes arguing and trying to see the nuances of the situation impossible because you are forced to pick a moral side. And we're not even talking about the rampant misinformation that's going on. There's tons of videos circulating where you don't know if it's from Gaza or Israel or a fucking video game or a fucking Argentinian soccer match. Guys, that's happening, and it's consistent with the way our social media is operated. And you get all of it, the performative activism, motherfuckers quote retweeting or like angrily responding to messages because this is what I can do, when they're not really fucking doing anything. People equating Hamas with Palestinians, which makes it worse for Palestinians. Because people like Ben Shapiro, who's fucking insane, by the way, loops them all into one circle. And that's the biggest issue we've been trying to fight, is that they're not the same. Hamas is counting on that because they want to gain power, right? Palestinians will suffer, their recruitment will go up. This is the textbook This is the textbook for all of these types of groups that have been horrific over the years. At the behest of people who just want to live, who are under a horrible fucking situation, people are opportunistic. And at the same time, again, it also benefits Netanyahu. Netanyahu's political career should be dead because, again, it came out earlier this week that he was warned about the attack. People knew, he knew what was going to happen. And there was also a line like, hey, you know, we're being such assholes about Gaza because we need to defend Israel. We need to defend it from terrorist attacks. And if we're this much of assholes, if we're aggressive about it, then it's not going to happen. What fucking happened? You were warned about it and it happened anyway. So clearly the strategy doesn't work. People have been telling you it doesn't work. You are also curtailing the rights of your own fucking citizens. When people show you who they are, believe them. And this is the last thing I'll say. Like, I don't think at this point we're trying to convince anybody what the argument is. You may be trying to, but I'm telling you, people have heard it. Regardless of what people say, most people know stuff in Gaza from the IDF is shitty. Most people know the Hamas thing was horrific and killing some, even people who are Palestinian activists are like, this Hamas shit's horrible. Everybody is trying to justify so that their site doesn't lose brand, which is a thing of social media, and that needs to be deaded. Right now, Gaza is about to lose electricity. It's gonna get bombed to hell by Israel. Those people have nowhere to go. And if that happens, I am telling you, Hamas won't end. It's gonna get worse. Those people will have a rallying cry for recruitment. More people will be used as human shields, and these motherfuckers will get power. So please, I advise you, get the fuck off X. Get off X. Don't go on Twitter. Don't quote retweet these motherfuckers. If you're gonna have political discussions, have them off that fucking app. Have conversations with your friends and make them respectful because there is something to learn there. These apps are built at the worst possible time. This is the worst possible crisis for us to be in this cultural position. And I'm telling you, they are poison. And until we learn to solve that issue, we're gonna keep having these fucking problems. That's my take on it. I appreciate you guys listening. Please keep the comments civil. And please, honestly, like, a lot of things are gonna sound like dog whistles to you. They're not. Like, this is built to fuck all of us from being able to talk. Just a quick addendum. Holy shit, this episode's like 20 minutes. I'm not telling you to abandon all social media. That's impossible, and it's actually a really bad idea to abandon all social media. I'm just saying, please take the conversation outside. Living perpetually on these apps is the worst possible thing you can do. Inform yourself and have social interactions outside of these apps so that when you come back, you can put into perspective what is real, what is sensationalized, and at least you can teach yourself not to engage with the worst parts of this stuff. It is poison when it's all you're being fed all of the time because it's a lot. So I hope you hear me out, and I hope it helps. All right, that's fucking awful to get through. Moving on to Gavin Newsom, the one guy with like a lapel who you would expect to go like, hey, at any party you're at. Gavin Newsom has been in the news recently because he's been vetoing a lot of bills as well as signing a few bills into law. This is kind of a mixed bag. There's quite a few really important bills that crossed Newsom's desk and he just said, nah, I'm not gonna do that. He vetoed a ban on caste discrimination, which was lobbied by quite a few people in the tech industry, which they say it's still very, very prevalent there. He also vetoed a bill to make condoms available in schools. There are a couple other bills around like work and everything like that he vetoed that are a little bit problematic. Like, come on, Gavin. But again, it's a mixed bag because he also okayed some other really, really important bills. One of them for tenant protections in California, requirements to build more affordable housing, a law protecting undocumented crime victims from deportation, and the Delete Act, which has been getting a lot of press. So essentially, California okayed the fact that, hey, if you request data brokers to delete your personal data, they gotta do it. And the California Privacy Protection Agency has to create a way for people to submit one request and for data to be taken down. And we've talked about it on the show. We know that there are tons of people who are swapping your data all around, especially with the rise of social media and the proliferation of how much we use social media on a daily basis. And so this act is a really, really great thing for Californians. And honestly, it's also a great time to talk about our sponsor. Do you like how I did that there? Our sponsor, Incogni. I've been using Incogni for 2 months now, and I have had a slew of improvements in my life around my protection and my identity, you name it. Less spam calls. I feel a lot safer with my data out there. Again, I was using an email address where I felt like everybody had all of my information all of the time. And now I feel like I have quite a bit more control. Incogni is essentially a set it and forget service where you set up an account, you tell them a little about yourself, and they find all of your information on the internet, all these data brokers who are trading you around, and they get that data scrubbed from the database. And one thing that they don't tell you is that getting these off of those data sites takes a lot of work. There are tons of these, and you have to really be on the ball to get them pulled off. Now, this bill is great. It's gonna really advance the ability to do that. But again, so many data brokers, so many of them have weird loopholes they go through. A lot of times you have to deal with legalese, which is a fucking nightmare. And Incogni takes care of all of that. It'll just basically do the work for you. So here, for example, is my first day using Incogni. These were all of the sites that had my data. And here's where I am now. Again, every time something pops up, they're on it. And they send me a monthly report as well about what sites are getting my data, what new sites have gotten data from me, and where they are in the request to take that thing down. So if you want your data protected and you'd like to support a small Indian rapper who likes talking about the news and fighting games occasionally, then go to incogni.com/Tabani and enter in code Tabani for 60% off. 60% off? That's almost as much as Elon Musk tanked the price of X within a month of buying it. But all jokes aside, I really do like Incogni. I know I do these long segments on them, but I actually do very much so believe in this, and it has had tangible effects and help on my life. I feel a lot less stressed. This is actually like a huge stressor for me just in general. I don't like my information being out there, like my phone number, my address, my social security number. That can be out there too. So go to incogni.com/Tabani and enter in the code Tabani, which my last name is, and get yourself some peace of mind and 60% off. This news literally broke overnight, so I'm gonna talk about it. It's Sssniperwolf. Sssniperwolf, if you don't know, is a creator who does a lot of React content. She takes a lot of TikTok content that's based on reactions and everything like that, and she reacts to it, and she says a couple of things. But in the recent years, Jacksfilms, another prominent YouTuber, has called her out. He says, look, a lot of the content isn't attributive, it's not transformative. A lot of times you're just taking people's views and farming them for yourself. And Sssniperwolf has faced a lot of backlash for how kind of non-transformative her content kind of is. Now, there's a huge debate on reaction-based content in general. I can't solve it like this second, but I can say there isn't a huge debate on doxing. That's usually not okay, because yesterday Sssniperwolf doxed Jacksfilms on her IG, posting a story that's saying, hey, I'm 5 minutes away from Jack's house, should I go see him? And then proceeds to show his house on IG saying,
let's talk.
Yeah, that's a great way to do things. We all know the classic debate strategy of,
hey, I'm outside your fucking house right now.
Sssniperwolf has posted things along the lines of like, hey, this guy's fucking obsessed with me. Like half of his videos are like about me. And look, I can understand how that is frustrating. There is another prominent creator who does not have a YouTube channel anymore, who made a fucking 30-minute video with my face prominently there about me, like talking shit on me, and I felt really fucking weird about that. But A, that comes with being a public figure, and B, don't dox people. And secondly, don't say accusing somebody of doxing is defamation, because that's what she did right afterwards. She went to IG and said,
accusing me of doxing is defamation. I have no idea how to dox. He literally posted his address on Google and said I threatened and doxed him.
bro, what? Just for any future YouTubers or anybody who wants to talk shit out there like me, defamation is something that has to be provable that it had an impact. It's very hard to prove in court. You have to say a statement that is so unbelievably false but damaging to another character that it hurts them in ways, it hurts them in insane ways. Like if I was to say Philip DeFranco's coffee is not delicious, that would be defamation, because it's categorically delicious. It's so delicious, you should give me a bag, bro. We're still friends. I want a bag. I'll drink it on here and I'll be like, hey, this is so good and I want to have more. But that would be defamation. And this has led to widespread calls for people to demonetize Sssniperwolf's channel. A tweet from Erin Breslin, who is Jacksfilms' wife, saying, Dear YouTube creators and Team YouTube, I am not a creator, but my husband is. Tonight, Sssniperwolf came to my home, posted it on her Instagram for everybody to see, and tried to instigate a confrontation. I now have to worry about what she, as one of your favorite creators, or one of her many fans, may do to harm me or my family. I am a regular human that works an 8-to-5 corporate job that happened to fall in love with a YouTuber. She might claim that she is coming after a bully, but she is actually stalking and doxing normal people with no power. I am an example of this. I beg you, what can you do to help us to keep us safe? That's a pretty intense message, and yeah, true. And look, my take on all this is, again, if somebody makes a video about you, I'm sure it sucks. I'm sure you may feel that, hey, my business is being threatened. No, but the point of the matter is that this is YouTube, right? Everybody's gonna have a criticism of somebody else's content. This YouTube drama shit is so dumb. It's so dumb. Like the Dillon Danis Logan Paul. Why? Why? A couple weeks ago, Straw Hat Goofy was on a fucking live arguing with somebody else. Guys, it's just content. We're not all pirate ships in the night trying to fight each other. I really do think it's a violation of privacy, and I kind of agree. She should have her channel demonetized because that shit's not okay, man. Anyway, that's gonna do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. I will say next Sunday we're probably gonna be off, but I'm gonna see if I can do a show during the week instead. But anyway, my name is Tabani, and I'll see y'all soon. Let's go.